Welcome to Civitas Conversations with Senator David Rouzer.
Senator, thank you very much for sitting down with me for this Civitas interview. What we're trying to do here is raise the profile of state politics and get the word out to people who aren't as exposed to state politics as they are national politics. There's not an abundance of media that's covering every move at the federal level as there is at the state level. So we wanted to just, first of all, hear about some of the interstate diversities within our own state here. And if you could, just tell me a little bit about your district, about Wayne and Johnston County.
Yeah, well, my district really is a microcosm of North Carolina as a whole. If you really look at it, in the western part of Johnston County, you have a lot of folks that have moved in from up north, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, elsewhere, and the Clayton, Cleveland area in particular that I'm referring to has become much more of a bedroom community of Raleigh. And then, of course, I-95 tracks right down through the middle, almost through the middle of Johnston County. And the closer you get to I-95, the closer you're getting, so to speak, to more traditional North Carolina. And when you get east of I-95, Princeton, over through Rosewood, Goldsboro, you really are in what I call old North Carolina.
I see. Well, changing gears a little bit, let me ask you a little bit about your tenure so far as senator. I understand that you're a freshman senator. I
am. I've been here just a little over a year.
And how has that been thus far?
It's been good. I've enjoyed getting to know all my colleagues, and vast majority of my experience is at the federal level. I worked for Jesse Helms for years and Elizabeth Dole for a couple of years until we saw through the quota buyout. And then I moved over and served in the executive branch under George W. Bush for a couple of years at USDA Rural Development. So it's been interesting to see the state level in terms of legislating at the state level versus the federal level. And there's some similarities, but there are a lot of differences too.
I'm curious to hear a little bit about some of the bills that you've sponsored and co-sponsored, particularly one, because this is a very salient issue this year, is the failure to carry or complete alien registration documents. I was curious your take on illegal immigration, whether or not it's an extremely important issue in North Carolina, and whether it's really the role of the state to take on what was considered a federal responsibility.
Well, it is a federal responsibility, but unfortunately the federal government has abdicated its responsibility in that regard. And, you know, this is an issue that really shouldn't be an issue. Had the federal government set up early on programs that would allow employers to get the labor that they need, where they can come and work and do their job and then go home without having all these artificial costs and all the red tape and all the bureaucracy involved in it, I don't think you would have the illegal immigration problem that you have today.
So there's another bill that I was sort of interested in hearing, and I've seen this in some of your literature that you've been distributing for your re-election, and that is wanting to reduce the size of government. And I saw that you supported a bill to reduce the corporate income tax in North Carolina. And I was just wondering what your thoughts on the sort of fiscal state of things here in North Carolina and where we need to go.
Well, I think we need to reform our tax code completely, and actually I'm not only in favor of reducing the corporate tax, I'm in favor of eliminating the corporate tax and the personal income tax. A lot of people don't realize it, but a lot of your S-Corps, LLCs, they're taxed on the personal income tax level. They're not set up as C-Corps, and so they're taxed at the individual tax rate. And so it would be a big help to small businesses if we would eliminate the personal income tax and the corporate income tax. And I would be in favor of, I guess, what you would call a fair tax, where you have a sales tax and you expand it to not only include goods but also some services. Now there's a debate over, you know, what services do you include, but I think you do need to broaden the base, and I think it would make us a very attractive state business-wise if we can eliminate over time the income tax and the corporate income tax.
Well, in a short closing, I was wondering if you would tell me what you believe to be the most critical spheres of policy reform needed to take North Carolina in the correct direction in the future?
Well, I think we need to reform our tax code, like I've discussed earlier. I think if you have the right kind of pro-growth tax code in place, that will help to solve a lot of the other issues that we have that are directly related to spending. The other thing is we need to reform our government from A to Z to operate in the 21st century, and we need to eliminate the inefficiencies and the duplicative bureaucracies that have emerged over time. Government is a lot like a closet that's full of boxes. You know, everybody that comes into office, they've got some new program that they want to put in place. And so you have one box stacked up on top of another. And nobody ever opens up the closet and say, look, you know, maybe we just ought to take all these boxes out and redo things a little bit. And so I think our challenge come next January is going to be just that. Will we, as a legislative body, have the political willpower to really take a strong look at our state government as a whole and reform it into an efficient, effective body that works for the people rather than working against them.
I see. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me, Senator. It's
Good to
been a
be
pleasure.
with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.